Alright, what's going on YouTube? So, Hidden Cup 4 Qualifiers Grind continues. This one is actually also streamed live. So, this is the first one I'm actually catching live over here. Dracken versus Sitaux. Sitaux, a candidate for me to get into the main event. Potentially the best French player out there. He has had an insanely good series versus Mr. Yo in King of the Desert Free versus Dracken, who was able to beat Tato on Arena in a recent tournament. He has stepped his game up quite a bit, and Dracken is also known as one of the best Battle Royale players out there. So we will see what Dracken can do against Sitaux. As you see, the home maps, cross islands for Sitaux, and Dracken picking Hideout and Bay, and the civilizations look like this. We'll have Chinese, Japanese, Vikings, Huns, Mayans, and Malay for Sitaux, which is a Civ draft I like a lot more than Dracken's Civ draft. You can go Bay with Japanese, Chinese can be Arabia, Vikings can be islands, Huns can be cross, and you can go Malay or Mayans on Hideout. Other side is Lithuanians, Italians, Saracens, Berbers, Khmer, and Byzantines. Italians is likely the Civ for islands, Byzantines likely for Bay. Khmer would be reasonable for Hideout. Lithuanians would make sense for cross, and that leaves Saracens or Berbers to Arabia. I'm not necessarily a fan of either of those. I actually like Berbers a little bit better, but yeah, as Bruce said on the chat, there is a chance we're going to see Saracen all-in from Dracken. Dracken is the underdog of this series by a significant margin. My prediction, however, is something like 3-1 for Sitaux, because Dracken is not a bad player, especially when it comes to close maps. So closed maps like Hideout could be extremely dangerous. And it looks like we do have a game already. And we have a Mayans versus Saracens set up over here. So we'll be using Capture Age for this, obviously. And Mayans versus Saracens, that should be a massive advantage for the Mayan player. In my perspective, Mayans are just better in basically every aspect of the game. And it looks like Sitaux is not going for Chinese. He's going to settle with the Mayan pick. Those were the two very, very reasonable choices for Arabia for him. And honestly, either of these civs are absolutely amazing Arabia civs. So, as I said, I feel like Sitaux outdrafted his opponent a tiny bit over here. And the main concern is that if you see such a commitment to the Arabia Saracen build, I would say that that is going to be somewhat predictable. Saracen archers have been nerfed, so that's no longer an option, but as Brew is saying, maybe something indeed like a knight, mangonel, maybe monk, all in, and pretty much just instead of building up your eco, you're just going to use stone and sell it for resources. That could be something that is viable. So I feel like Sitaux might need to work towards getting an early castle up to potentially stop a mangonel aggression, because eventually he should be able to win archer wars, but I feel like indeed if he's getting mangonel pushed, then a defensive castle is the most likely or most reasonable way of stopping that overall. With that being said, we are gonna have Sitaux and Dracken getting into the first game over here. Hey, and Brain, here you have arrived in the perfect moment to take a look at Capture Age being used in Hidden Cup qualifiers. So, Dracken versus Sitaux over here. I am a big Sitaux fan myself, but I will try to be, as unbiased as it is possible. So, we do have a pause here, interestingly. That allows me to set up the Capture Age overlay, Hidden Cup qualifiers round of 64, and we are good to go, I believe. So let's jump into Capture Age over here, and we're all set. So we're going to have Sitaux playing as Mayans in blue. On the right side and left side is going to be Dracken with what is a kind of open map for him in a purple, playing as Saracen. So his gold mine is actually pretty nice. Berries are up on the front. Left side is somewhat vulnerable, but one thing that you always have to consider when it comes to Saracens is where your stones are, because oftentimes you're just gonna sell stones or sell stone to balance your eco out. So this stone mine could be extremely important for Dracken, and for that reason he may need to wall like this if he wants to. He's the underdog, so he definitely needs to wall here, otherwise a skilled player like Sitaux is going to demolish him. But yeah, the thing is that at this part of the bracket we have the Fat Dragon Vivi, we have Sitaux, we have Dracken, we have Bad Boy, we have Chart, and iBuyPower. iBuyPower is a Chinese team game player, Bad Boy is a Vietnamese team game player. Neither of them are super amazing in 1v1s. So this part of the bracket, I believe, will fall into the hands of either Vivi, Sitaux, or Dracken. And in my perspective, I actually consider Sitaux's versatility to be superior compared to Vivi. Vivi has had some rough tournament performances in the past. He's generally a good player. However, hybrid maps is something that the Vivi always struggled with a little bit. In case you haven't forgotten, and you probably will have forgotten, as Sitaux comes in to try and block the Voyager and fails to do so. When in Hidden Cup 3 there was a show match with hidden identities before the event, Vivi actually played in one of those, and it was pretty easy to identify him because he just landed with a bunch of Voyagers on the opponent's island. So yeah, the thing is that Vivi and hybrid maps is not really a good combination. So I feel like Vivi is a little bit overhyped in this tournament. And I personally think that Sitaux is going to have a very, very good chance to get into the main event. Once again, he played an insanely good series versus Mr. Yo in King of the Desert. So I was set for Sitaux there because Sitaux has been just as good as Mr. Yo on that tournament. Or at least in the round they played. So yeah, Sitaux is, I think, a very underrated player, and we'll see what he can do. I would love to see him getting into the main event, but he's gonna have to get nerfed, or he's gonna have to get through Vivi probably first. Anyways, we are gonna have 4 on wood over here for the Dracken, and 4 on wood as well for Sitaux, no surprise about that. The fact that we have 4 on wood from Dracken will mean that we will have no scout play from him. So it's either something like Men-at-Arms Archers, potentially a Drush or so, or maybe he's gonna try going on Naked FC. Correct me if I'm wrong, but there were a couple of players in King of the Desert where they just went Naked FC. Who was that? It was an arena player, right? Was it Johnslow or was it actually Dracken? But there were players that actually went for Naked Fast Castle on Arabia in King of Desert, and I remember I was freaking out over there because like Memb and Karzini put so much effort to making that King of Desert Arabia open and aggressive, and there were a couple of players that actually were winning games by just walling themselves up and going for fast castle without making any military. There were a couple of players that tried that. So we'll see if Dracken is actually... yeah, the Dracken versus Nikov series. You were right. That was the series where Dracken pretty much almost beat Nikov. If I remember correctly. I remember one game where Nikov lost like all his TCs and he barely held on. That was game number 5, right? And Nikov won 3-2 against Dracken there. My memories are not that good, or not as good as they used to be on this topic. But yeah, that was interesting, and the fact that Dracken is dropping a farm and now making militias makes me heavily think that he's thinking about at least a Drush FC and not just, you know, Naked FC here. There is 4 on berries for Dracken, went for the preemptive Parasite Foundations, but these are super, super weak, so the militias get through them very easily, and now Dracken sees there's militias coming his way. He's gonna have to build up these walls, otherwise he's going to lose them. Getting the militias out himself, and as I said, these are very, very weak foundations. Dracken turns back just in time to get the HP of those up over there, and now he's gonna bring in his own militia over here. So I wonder if Sitaux is thinking about Drush seeing this one himself, because if you study the gameplay of Dracken, you could potentially make a case indeed for Dracken attempting a Drush FC, and oftentimes the best way to deal with a Drush FC is by making your own Drush FC. Anyways, an Eagle in Dark Age is going to be a little bit superior compared to a Scout, which means that there is a slight advantage over here for Sitaux, but for now, Dracken is just going to be dancing back and forth. TC idle time is actually pretty low for both players, but Dracken has quite a lot of Voyager idle time, because while he's microing his units over here, there is one idle Voyager here and there is one idle Voyager over there, and that's going to hurt very, very badly for him. And let's see if Sitaux is going to bring in a 4th militia. Oftentimes, when you see Drush versus Drush like this, you are going to bring in a 4th militia from the barracks, just to swing the battle in your favor, and it looks like Dracken is just not paying attention to these villagers. I wonder if he has the idle villager indicator, or, you know... If you remember, yesterday I casted T90 playing against Arena in a rated game, and Dracken had the 3 villagers standing behind his barracks for like 2 minutes, because he didn't notice them. So, at that time I was asking, does he not have this idle indicator mod, or is he not using the idle villager hotkey? And for me, it seems like he's underusing the idle villager hotkey. I don't know about other people, but I myself, when I play, I like to sometimes just tap the idle villager hotkey even without looking at the overlay and seeing how many idols I have, just to make sure that I don't have any. But look at this, these villagers have been idle forever, and all he needs to do is just tap the idle villager hotkey, and he's going to check it out. And it's not like there is a lot of things going on here. Obviously, there is a bit of a micro. At the end of the days, Dracken loses his scout, which is not ideal, and Sitaux keeps his own. And when it comes to rushes, it is extremely important to remember that losing a scout is an extremely huge loss, because you're losing important pieces of information pretty much. And it looks like Dracken is going to turn this into a man-at-arms towers play. Sitaux barely missing the villagers in this one. You can see that Dracken doesn't have a great scouting, but what he sees is... Or is this Sitaux? Yeah, this is Sitaux's point of view, but Dracken has an even worse scouting. So, this is so weird from Dracken. He pulled the villagers. Maybe he wanted to tower, but I think he just thought that his opponent is going for Drush FC, and when he saw that Sitaux was in feudal, he was like, okay, this is not Drush FC, so I won't be able to tower this one. So he's gonna have to play archers. This guy has been idle forever. Just press that idle villager hotkey. This guy's chilling here. Look at this. Oh boy. Anyways, Dracken now coming up with the wars here, but if it's like Archer versus Archer war, Mayans will just devastate Saracens over there. Cheaper Archers, Mayans overall having a stronger eco. Like, what the Saracens can actually count on here is getting like an early market up, which actually helps in walling as well, so that is really helpful. And you want to wall this off over here most likely, or alternative is to wall it off over here. So... that is your best bet at this point. In the meanwhile, archers are coming out, and no! Heta feels bad, man. Bumby just got slain by a couple of archers here. Anyways, these militias for Dracken are actually pretty useful at keeping track of the archers, and that's actually important. You just want to keep track of the archers, and you see that Sitaux is mixing in some eagles as well to this one. Because Eagle and Archer should be superior than Clean Archer, and the Draken is like pretty much trying to finish off those barriers before he has to abandon them. This villager has been idle forever, so villager idle time right now is 12 minutes compared to 2 minutes. That is ridiculous. That's a nice move from Draken, turning back. Trading 2 militias for an Eagle at this point is somewhat reasonable, and Sitaux is playing one range, adding a couple of skirms. There is going to be one range as well from Draken. But here's the deal, if Sitaux isn't able to push Dracken right now, then Dracken is going to be able to capitalize on the Saracen market. He will soon start sending villagers to stone, selling stone, and getting up to Castle Age to use the Castle Age power spike. Nice move from Dracken over there, pops out, and picks off what is going to be 4. Was it 4 or just 3 archers? That was actually a very, very nice move. Dracken's idle time is absolutely insane. I don't know, if I ever gift a Christmas present for Dracken, I'm just gonna get him a keyboard which has like one dedicated huge idle villager hotkey on it. Like, we're gonna have a keyboard where it's like half the keyboard is one button, and we'll just label it, bind this into idle villager and press it from time to time again, because this villager has been idle here for who knows how long. It was like ever since Dark Age. And that actually has its impact, this is like as if he was one villager behind. He also has 20 seconds more, actually 30 seconds more idle time now on his TC, which means that he's behind by one villager by default, but what is even worse is that, as I said, this villager could have actually worked. Whatever this villager does could have been useful, and you see that he's just sending all the villagers to gold over here, and indeed he is going into Castle Age here, and he has to make a night switch against Mayans. Because the crossbows will not be as good, like, the thing is that +1/+1 skirms and Eagles will be able to hold against early crossbows for a small time. So you probably want Knights, because what can the Mayan player do against Knights? Like, you can go Monks, or you can go Pikes, basically, but you need Castle Age for that. And if you're beating your opponent to Castle Age, and that is what this strategy is built upon, then what you probably want to accomplish is exactly just using that power spike, and Knights would be much better, I think, in this scenario for Dracken. That being said, he's gonna have about a minute advantage going into Castle Age here, but that is not enormous. And Sitau's eco, he's got 4 Villagers lead right now, and he also has Horse Color, whereas his opponent does not, even though it's not like Dracken really needs Horse Color because he's just buying resources. Obviously, this is far from sustainable for Dracken, so this is not going to work well in the long run, like mining gold and buying resources. But for Dracken, he doesn't want a long game. He doesn't want this game to go into like post-Imperial, because he knows that Sitaux is going to be able to beat him there. So this is, as bro said on chat before, pretty much Castle Age all in from the Lizard. Here come the archers. That's a nice timing. A little bit low on food. Now gets crossbowman squeezed in there. So that timing is going to be crucial, and that army might be intercepted before the crossbowman hits. That's actually pretty bad overall for Dracken. And this is what I said. Is it good to have 6 crossbows against a couple of elite skirms and archers? Probably it's not that big of a swing. I feel like double stables could have been a little bit better. I think Doubt used that against Leary in King of the Desert, if I'm not mistaken. But I might be wrong. Or was it Vilas? It might have been Doubt versus Vilas. I don't know. But it was definitely Doubt against someone in King of the Desert. That he went for basically Saracen Knights play and just pretty much bought the resources using the market. Because, as I said, the Knights give you a much bigger power spike in Castle Age than crossbows do. This is all that Dracken was able to push with the crossbows. He's going to be playing 1 TC over here, and I assume that that's going to be a defensive siege workshop. Maybe he had an idea about a forward siege workshop, but that's not really an option right now. Sitaux will be playing with University for fast ballistics. Dracken decides to go for a siege workshop for a couple of mangonels. The siege workshop should have no trouble going up, and you can actually make a case for trying to snipe down some of the crossbows over here with a little bit of an archer dance. Ends up being a 1-for-1 trade in terms of crossbows. But as I said, I think Sitaux knows exactly that this is far from sustainable for Dracken. So the longer the game goes, the better it is going to be for Sitaux, and that's exactly what we're witnessing over here. So he's just sitting back, chilling, and making sure that he's not going to make any crucial mistakes that could cost him the game, basically. University now coming in here for Dracken for ballistics. And he's still on double ranges and making crossbows, adding a couple of knights. I honestly like the unit composition of Dracken a little bit more. The problem is that fully upgraded Eagle Warriors would club this army. So if Sitaux is actually switching into full Eagles, he's going to be able to devastate this army, because the knights will not have a lot of upgrades on them. In fact, these knights have 0 upgrades. Not even a single blacksmith upgrade, not even bloodlines. So it looks like Sitaux is actually going to tech into more and more Eagles here. So I wouldn't be surprised to see 2 more barracks being dropped at some point. And we have seen this many times. Eagle Warriors with +2/+2 will just eat knights that are unupgraded. And it's one of the advantages of having Mayans over here against Saracens. Like, Saracens don't really want to tech into their knights because that's not really sustainable for them in the long run. So Saracens want to push with their crossbows. Knights are a nice support unit, but if the opponent techs into full Eagles, then they will be able to just take down everything. Basically, Siege Workshop comes in here for Sitaux. That may actually go denied. Sitaux runs back into his own base. It's a relatively major mangonel shot. Now Eagles dive in, and they do pick off the mangonel. Knights will take a fight against Eagles. That's not really ideal for Sitaux, though. That's actually far from ideal, but right now he's like, okay, I just need some meat shield so that my skirms and crossbows can finish off the crossbows, and I feel like he has taken a good enough engagement over here to survive, and that's exactly what was needed over here. He's still on 1 barracks. And it looks like he's gonna keep adding crossbows, not go full transition into eagles, although a full eagle transition is completely viable against Saracens, because Saracens, as I said, in early Imperial they won't have Cavalier. They can go camels, but camels die to eagles as well, and the main concern is that, like, Saracens, the first thing that they will be able to do against the eagles that actually is really viable is probably hand cannons. They could try going for the long swords, but that's not really going to work out because of lack of mobility compared to the eagle warriors. So Sitaux adding an interesting TC number 2 over here, kind of unfortunate spot. I think this hill is blocking that TC foundation on the wood, and he probably wants it close to the gold, just in case he gets pushed. Mango Dance coming in here in the middle. And for now, Dracken is holding, and that's actually an important thing for him. He's stalling this game out. The question is, which direction is this game heading? It's a 1-for-1 Mango trade here in the middle. And at the end of the day, we're gonna have more eagles on the field. It looks like, as I said, the eagles will just be an auxiliary unit over here, but now finally Sitaux makes the commitment towards eagles. I think that's the right decision. Mayans have one of the best eagles once they get the Eldorado upgrade, but even without that, they are just going to be able to overrun these archers, and that's a couple of knights with +1 defense, no bloodlines. So it's not like those guys will be able to inflict an awful lot of damage on the eagles. And now +1 attack is coming in. If Dracken sees the +1/+2 on the eagles, he should know that the full eagles which is coming in. So he should know, if he clicks on those, that that is what he has to expect. The question is, how can he react to that one, because that is the main problem. He's trying to switch into triple stable knights, but once again, eagles in terms of cost efficiency, especially if the knights don't have good upgrades, will just easily beat the knights over here. That being said, if Sitaux isn't actually able to take good engagements over here with the eagles, and for example loses those eagles relatively easily, takes down 2 mangonels, which was a nice trade over here, now he can move in the crossbows, but I think that I could see Dracken indeed kind of all in this one with +2 defense and knights, but he needs +2 defense. Otherwise, the crossbows will just pick off his knights for now. He's going to use that as a meat shield. Nice fight over here by Dracken. That's actually a very good fight. The crossbows need to focus down the opponent's crossbows so that the knights can finish off the skirmishers. Mangonel comes in here from Sitaux. Nice move from Dracken. That's going to be a pick off. And he's going to lose some crossbows, but now I feel like Dracken is actually starting to dominate this game, because one thing that Sitaux doesn't have is equal numbers, and it's only 2 barracks right now. He's not even Aztec, so he doesn't have the production speed bonus. Mangonel, nice split over there by Dracken, takes down the Mangonel, and Dracken actually takes over in terms of these fights. Now, as I said, it's somewhat questionable how sustainable Dracken's push is, but there is a lot of villagers being pulled here. What are those doing? They're just moving out to the gold mine. I thought it's for a forward castle, but it is not, and also Dracken has no stone, so that wouldn't have been viable anyways. So it looks like Dracken is at least making this game competitive so far. As I said, the problem is that this is not sustainable to just keep selling gold over here. Sitaux, however, isn't able to finish off Dracken over here, so this is actually closer than a lot of people would have expected. And the real problem, as I said, is that what are Saracens going to do against eagles in Imperial? Because the eagles in Imperial will just eat these knights, and Saracens don't have Cavalier. If you were Chinese or something like this right now, you would still go for Cavalier or a comparable civilization. But that's not an option right now for Dracken over here. So he's gonna have to go something like hand cannon, Mameluke, longsword, or something like that in order to facilitate this. Dracken will try to save that Mangonel. Nice micro from Sitaux, diving in. One eagle goes down, the other eagle is gonna bite the dust as one. Dracken is pushing this. Dracken is pushing this, ladies and gentlemen. 3 TCs for Sitaux, but it's only a 16 villagers lead, which is far from insurmountable. I mean, 16 views at this stage of the game is definitely a nice advantage for Sitaux, but it's not something that Dracken couldn't compensate with potentially getting a few crossbows on this wood line. That would be a great move right now from Dracken. If he actually said, okay, my opponent doesn't have a lot of archers, I'm going to send a couple of crossbows over here, and that would deny that wood line. That would be an excellent move. And now knights are slowly running in. Dracken is still missing a lot of upgrades, which is pretty troublesome. Even more so, the idle time is what is concerning. So as much as Sitaux is getting pushed, Dracken isn't really causing an awful lot of damage to compensate for the lack of economy and the lack of efficiency from that economy. That's the bigger problem, that there is also significant efficiency issues. If Dracken actually had stone right now, this would be the moment where you would actually try getting a forward castle up. The other thing that Dracken is really missing is +2 defense, because there is still a decent amount of crossbows on the field. With +2 defense, those knights would be much more devastating against everything that Sitaux has. There isn't really a lot of crossbows on the field, so really +2 knights here would be completely viable for Dracken. Something like +2 knights into a castle drop is more than reasonable, I think, for Dracken. Because a castle drop over here would actually cause a lot of chaos for Sitau's base. He could be losing the barracks, he could be losing the ranges. Sitaux right now is on 3 barracks now, so he's slowly transitioning into full eagles, but still adding crossbows to pick off the knights. Nice micro over there from him. And eats a big mango shot nonetheless. Dracken desperately needs +2 defense though, because his knights are getting eaten by crossbows. I feel like if Dracken had +2 defense here, he would be winning these fights pretty decisively. But he's not doing that, and this way he's slowly losing battles, and it's a 23 villagers lead now for Sitaux that is just increasing and increasing. I don't know why Dracken's not getting the +2 defense. He could easily be grabbing that. Obviously he's trying to get the numbers up, but it's better to have 5 knights with +2 than 8 knights with +1 in this case, because that +2 defense helps like an awful lot when it comes to just dealing with the crossbowman fire. Let's see if Sitaux can actually snipe that mangonel. Yes, he will. So Sitaux delays this push, and that is all he needs. He's got the better eco, and he knows that. And Dracken trying to catch up right now, but he's still 1 TC, and this gotta be a 1 TC all-in because it's too late to catch up now eco-wise. I feel like if Dracken just said, okay, YOLO, we're gonna go triple stable knights with +2, that would be completely viable, because as I said, triple stable knights is not something that you stop with monks. And I'm just really missing that +2 defense from Dracken. I'm not going to over-exaggerate this, but I feel like that is an upgrade that is... If it was there, Dracken would be winning these fights. Pretty decisively, in fact. Because 8 crossbows won't stop like 4, 5, 6 knights with +2 defense. They do with +1. So, the difference between potentially losing this game and having a much larger chance for Dracken, I think it lies in the +2 defense missing for those knights. That is an extremely important upgrade for your knights. And I don't know, like, it kind of feels like he's indecisive a little bit about what he wants to do with this situation. As I said, I could have imagined him going for 4 knights in castle. Loses another mangonel. The problem is that he's trying to use mangonels to deal with the crossbows, but I feel like it would be just better to go 4 knights. Obviously, Sitaux could try getting pikemen in to deal with that, but that's a later problem right now for Dracken. He's got bigger problems right now, so really, just get that +2 defense, man. Anyways, I think this game is now getting close to being over. It's a 1 TC Castle Age all-in from Sitaux, and as the name suggests, it's an all-in. Which means that if it doesn't work out, then you are pretty much dead, and Sitaux is going into Imperial, so... At latest, when Sitaux reaches Imperial, I think Dracken is gonna call the GG. Imperial Age Eagles will just eat knights very easily anyways, but we could be seeing potentially Arbs as well over here. Like, there is a multiple options here for Sitaux. Dracken tried the Castle Age all-in, but he didn't really commit to this. That's my problem. Like, he's been playing way too defensive for the type of play that he actually chose here. So, if you want to go Castle Age all-in, might as well go get upgrades and then push. Like, you're not supposed to be just defending here when it comes to Castle Age all-in. In the meanwhile, a bear is trying to eat a lady on the right side, unsuccessful in doing so. And, yeah, Sitaux is grabbing relics as well. This game is just so over. And I really wonder what could have happened if Dracken went for the +2 defense. Now he has it. And he's still not committing to these fights. I feel like he could easily commit with, what's that, 11 knights and 12 crossbows against 20 crossbows and 8 eagles. If he had +2 defense for a longer amount of time, this could have been a completely different game. But now it is Imperial Age for Sitaux, and from this point on, even if he just gets Bracer, that's gonna be enough to once again pierce through the armor of... the knights very easily, and that should be enough to seal the deal over here. Let's see if Dracken traps out upon seeing his opponent being in him. Maybe he wants to take this engagement, the Mangonel goes down, gets a hit in, but for now, even if Sitaux loses considerable numbers here, he's going to be able to replace his numbers much easier. He's going to take a narrow choke point engagement here on Bracer. Even when Bracer hits, that's going to be enough, but when Arbalest and Bracer is there, these guys will just met everything that Dracken has. Indeed, Dracken knows that as well. Dracken knows exactly it is over. He tried it, but it didn't work out. Sitaux takes game number 1 over here. I'm somewhat disappointed in Dracken, to be honest. That's my objection on this. I feel like he could have had a much better performance in this game if he actually committed to the all-in that he chose to do, right? So there were a lot of sloppiness. Like, for example, having one villager idle here for like who knows how long was crazy. If you look at the idle villager count, this is not something that is ideal, especially with Saracens, because with Saracens you're just like, okay, whatever, send the villagers and stone and we will just balance out the rest, right? So with Saracens you really want low villager idle time, because other civs you are like, okay, I can't afford farms, I'll have to send villagers to Wood. Villagers are idle on depleted farms and whatsoever. With Saracens, you're just like, okay, send them to stone and then we'll just, sell the stone and whatnot. So, being able to keep your villagers working is not that complicated with Saracens. Obviously, there was a lot of micro involved in this one, but really, many knights have lost their lives to crossbows because they only had +1 armor. And if that +2 armor was there at that moment, and maybe even if Dracken stops making crossbows and just goes triple stable knights with +2 defense, I think he could have actually overrun Sitaux. Other option was that Dracken was trying to knock on the front door too much a little bit. I think that if he flanks around with 2 crossbows, hits this wood line, for example, that could have been good as well. And that can be traced back to him losing the scout in the Drush. And because he lost the scout, he had little scouting information. He didn't know that there is a wood line over here that could be potentially exposed to a couple of crossbowmen harassing it. But Sitaux knew exactly that all he needs to do is just stall this game out and slowly grind it out to victory, because the Saracen play has to be successful in Castle Age, otherwise it's over. Maybe if Dracken goes for like +2 knights and a forward castle, this could have been a different game. There would have been options for Dracken, but I feel like what I'm seeing from Dracken is that his execution is definitely weaker than Sitaux's execution, and that's something that I expected to see. The real thing, however, is that I feel like if Dracken chooses the right strategy, he has the chance to win games against Sitaux. That's what I wanted to say. Because the thing is that if you just think that overall, he has had the ingredients to make this game competitive as well. He just had some bad moves, bad situation. He obviously, when he is the underdog, he is not the one that is supposed to be winning Arabia. So when you are this much an underdog in a series, it's not like you have to win Arabia. You have to be prepared for the home maps, like all of them, not just your own, but the opponent's home maps as well, and win those. That's basically the key here. So yeah, I expected Sitaux to win Arabia, which means that Dracken, if he wants to win this one, he has to be well prepared for Hideout, he has to be well prepared for Bay, for Islands as well. We will see what he can do over there, but those are the maps that he has to win. Obviously, Arabia is the least likely that he's going to win, let's say, because that is the most standard map, players practice that the most. So when you're lower level than another player, you are probably lower level because you would lose to him on Arabia. So you have to be able to win the specialized maps, the home maps in here. Anyways, that brings us to game number 2, and because these are live games, I'm just saying this for YouTube mainly, we are gonna have to wait a tiny bit, I believe, until they launch up the next game. When I'm casting for YouTube, the advantage is that it is only recorded games, and that means that I can just jump into the next one immediately. But here, obviously, the players will have to set up the game. We're going to play one of the home maps for Dracken, and that is Hideout and Bay. I would say that if you're Dracken, you're gonna pull the trigger on Hideout right now. So that's probably your best map. If there was Arena, Draken would play that, but Arena isn't part of the tournament, so it kind of has to be Hideout. Draken is known for being a very, very good player on closed maps, so if he wants to win a game or potentially win the series, this is a must-win for Draken. If Sitaux edges this one out, this could end up being a 3-0. Alright, so let's take a look at the civilizations for a brief moment. As we got Orlu with the raid, thank you so much, everybody. Welcome to you as well. We're casting Hidden Cup free qualifiers. You have arrived at the right time. This is a good series. This is Sitaux versus Dracken. So, yep. Thank you for the raid. And we will get going. The first game just finished, and Sitaux won quite decisively, although Dracken had his moments. It was more about the strategy choice.
Happy Twitch, baby.
And look at that, Ornlu with the 9 months of resub. Thank you so much as well. Indeed, happy Twitch, baby. I greatly appreciate the support of the Great Wolf. Indeed, the emotes have been renamed. Now it's just lead of high. And I get Folder with the resub as well. Thank you so much as well. Indeed, there is no way to escape these emotes. That's a true story. Okay, so there is no game just yet, which means that we can actually take a look at the civilizations in this one. Where is that? So, civs, here they are. And with that, we are going to take a look. So, Saracens are gone for a Dracken, and we will have Mayans gone for Sitaux. The remaining maps, as you see over here, are Cross, Islands, Hideout, and Bay. Were you inspired by, in any way, by the Shark Dance with Katy Perry at the Super Bowl? Did you see that? Yes, I did. I actually, like, when it comes to selecting the Sharks as an emote team, that wasn't influencing it. It was more like, after the Sharks became kind of the emote team of this channel, I decided to use the left Shark Dance as an alert. So, in case you have noticed that, the left Shark Dance is exactly what you see in the alert. Where did that shark come from? You mean where did the shark team come for the channel? Basically, when I was a very, very small streamer, like super, super small streamer, I had a couple of streamer friends that were basically my first viewers when I was like less than 5 viewers type of a thing. As Doubt is rating as well, thank you so much, Doubt, for the host. We're casting Hidden Cup over here. The first game just ended and I forgot to edit the score. So, I had the tendency whenever I was on a stream and you could ask for background music, that was the pre-DMCA era, I had the tendency to ask for some crazy music, and I successfully managed to drive a lot of streamers insane. And when I was a startup streamer myself, a lot of these streamer friends came back and they were like, okay, now we're gonna get some brain-killing music here, and one of that was Baby Shark. And at that point, I was like, you know what? I was looking for an emote team, because everybody has, like, if you just go into the Twitch emote section, you would see everybody has, like, I don't know, a guy waving at you, and that's their hi emote. And I'm like, yeah, we have 120 people at least on Twitch with such emotes. I want something that's a little bit more unique, and I didn't know any streamer that uses a shark team. So I was like, I might as well use sharks there, and the idea basically came from that Baby Shark song, because I was like, what should my team be? And then suddenly, I get sent the Baby Shark song, and I was like, you know what, we could use sharks as a team. Why can't I actually find the game? And Hera is also here with the raid. Thank you so much, everybody. Hope you had a nice stream. We're actually about to cast game number 2 in Hidden Cup qualifiers over here. Dracken versus Sitaux. Sitaux is leading 1-0. And now we're actually going to the home map of Dracken, or at least I hope we're going to the home map of Dracken. Why can't I see the game? Hello? Game? Okay, here it is. So, game number 2 coming in here. Once again, thank you everybody for the raid. Ornlu, Doubt, Hera. We got a big party over here. So, this is going to be Hideout, which is the home map of Dracken over here. No surprise about that. We do have Chinese for Sitaux in blue, somewhat surprisingly, to be honest. Left side, especially because he had Malay available. That's what I wanted to say. I thought Malay is gonna be his pick for this one, because he has Vikings for Islands and he has Japanese for Bay. So I thought it's gonna be Malay, or before the game one, I thought it could be Mayans as well and use Chinese on Arabia. But we end up with Sitaux using Chinese over here. Other side, we will have Dracken playing as a Khmer in purple. So Khmer, pretty strong boom overall. We will see what Dracken does. In one of the previous qualifiers I casted, we have seen Ballista Elephant cuts through the middle. And there's a couple of things to talk about when you actually break this map down. First things first, the deer always spawn on the outside, which is a thing. Apparently we're like half a minute behind, so we'll have to speed through the Dark Age a little bit over here, but that shouldn't really be a big deal. The other thing is that the Hidden Cup script has been changed for Hidden Cup 4 in Hideout. Is that now basically the forest is always kind of T-shaped. This is kind of an umbrella shape, but the two players have the narrow part of the forest between them. That is, so far all the generations I've seen were like this. Before that, there was occasions where one of the players was here and the other one was far right. So there was a much more space between the players. Now that's not the scenario anymore. And Sitaux is going up at 22 villagers with what is apparently a Men-at-Arms build. Hello there. Men-at-Arms. Not something unprecedented, but what you have to keep in mind is that the palisade walls are no longer as strong as they used to be, especially Dark Age palisade walls. It's actually very, very easy to break through these. For now, Dracken is going to have to roll behind. He's actually good in these situations. As long as Dracken has walls in front of his base, he's a rather strong player, and it looks like we will have Dracken making a stable already on the way to Castle Age, though. This is crazy. Now I think we are actually going to be better off if we slow down, even though we're probably half a minute behind still. AoE, I told you to slow down. So that is actually a pretty fast castle over here from Dracken. Probably something like 23 plus 0 or 24 plus 0 it was. It might have been 23 plus 1 as well. But anyways, Sitaux tried to stop that one with archers, but that failed quite badly, and now Dracken's got some knights on the field, which is going to be pretty tough to stop. He also has an awful lot of vultures queued up, which is surprising because he could just cancel some of these and get Boso and Horse Color for himself. A little bit low on wood is Dracken as well. And he stopped mining gold, so he just wants a couple of knights, and he probably just wants to turn this into a boom game over here. Yeah, honestly, Sitaux is by far the better overall player, but Dracken is a skilled player, especially on closed land maps, so it is more than legitimate from Dracken to potentially take away one game. I think if Dracken has any hope of winning this series, it has to start on Hideout. This is a must-win for Dracken if he wants anything with this series. Sitaux's home maps are, I think, Islands and Bay. Islands is something where I would probably give Sitaux an edge, and probably Bay as well. Knights will loop all the way around. And speaking of Sitaux, he actually went for Men-at-Arms archers, which is pretty heavy on your early eco, so it's going to delay your castle age quite a bit. So the thing is that if Dracken just goes for knights right now, knights forward siege workshop could actually be pretty devastating. But it seems like we're just going to see kind of knights into boom from Dracken. He doesn't really want to be aggressive here, which may backfire because right now he would have every tool he needs to be super aggressive. Goes for a siege workshop, to stop this archer push. Remember that he doesn't have a blacksmith because he's Khmer, so he was trying to age up without buildings. And that means that without a blacksmith, he's not going to be able to get armor upgrades on those knights, so even archers will deal sort of a reasonable amount of damage on these guys. They have 0 upgrades on them. And Khmer Scorpions is what we're going to see with the extra range. Scorpions Knights could still be a devastating firepower over here, as Sitaux is going to be on the way towards Castle Age in a moment as well. Dracken is going to have a nice little eco lead over here from the 2 TCs. Obviously, right now he's behind an eco because he's already up to Castle Age, whereas his opponent is still in Feudal. And it looks like we'll have camos from Sitaux in this situation to deal with the Knights of his opponent. So far, Dracken pretty much just made, okay, fast castle into boom, and what I said at the end of the first game is that I feel like one of the things that Dracken needs to come up with to win a series or win a game is good game plan. His execution is weaker than Sitaux's execution, but that can be leapfrogged with a very well-developed strategy. So the real question is the strategy good enough from Dracken on this map? And so far, I'm not impressed about the, okay, let's do 2 TC boom type of a scenario from our Czech player. It's a little bit laggy over here. Now it's 2 more stables being added, so we may see triple stable knights coming out now that we have a reasonable amount of villagers for the Dracken. But we'll see what they can do against the Khmer... Not Khmer, what am I talking about? Against the Chinese camos over here. There is going to be enough archers for Sitaux to justify a crossbowman upgrade. And it looks like Sitaux wants to go for the vills. He sends 2, so it's probably going to be mangonels, camos, and a couple of crossbows supporting that. Over here, blacksmith now coming out for Dracken, but Dracken at the end of the day is at 4 military compared to 17. Sitaux is going to be behind by about 10 villagers by the time he reaches Castle Age. But you have to ask the question, is Dracken going to be able to survive a mangonel push here? Because the army is much better for Sitaux, so if there is actually a breach on the walls, the crossbows could start moving up immediately. And yeah, Dracken has a siege workshop, but it's not like there is actually a lot of knights. Capture Age might actually want to get restarted over here, so give me a moment to do that. Until then, here's the game. So we'll actually take a look at a Capture Age restart. Sometimes it just freaks out after games, so it needs to have some care, and we're back in here. So with that, there's a siege workshop from Sitaux. Crossbow's already coming in here, nice splits, and that Scorpion will live to see another day for the time being. What else do we have over here? Second TC coming in here for Sitaux so that he can catch up, and he opens knights, interestingly, instead of camos. I mean, it makes some sense, but eventually it should be camos. Alrighty, right. So, worth noting that Sitaux is only using 1 wood line, whereas Dracken has 2, so that's a little bit more efficient wood income-wise. I would have preferred, like, this is tricky for Sitaux because he needs to replace this lumber camp. This is too far away, but it would be preferred for Sitaux if he had a 2nd wood line. Like, ideally his 3rd TC would come up somewhere on the wood line. We'll see what's up with that. So, the thing is that right now Dracken is sitting on a 13 villagers lead, which is nice. He's getting knights out on the field. But I haven't received an answer on what he's going to do against camos, potentially, from Sitaux. And it's not like Sitaux has an impossible job of catching up. It's 2 TCs as well. Dracken is making TC number 3 on the outside. We'll try to sneak a few villagers out here, but I think Sitaux might be able to find this one. And if he does, he can actually push in that direction. And are we just going to see a boom into GG here from Dracken? I think he wants to wait until he takes a decisive engagement. He's waiting for +2 defense, +1 attack. Yeah, this is tricky. The thing is that Dracken can sort of afford to be passive here, because he's got the eco lead and he knows that. However, do you really want to just, you know, boom up here? You could start to get punished by a player like Sitaux. There is a reason why you don't just boom, especially on Hideout. On Arena, this is much more viable than on Hideout. And even if Dracken takes down this army, I'm not sure what after. What is his game plan at actually killing Sitaux? That's my problem. That... yeah, he's gonna take this army down, sure. But after that, is he just gonna knock on these walls As I said, I'm somewhat surprised that Sitaux is making knights, because I would think that it is much more reasonable for him to make camos in this situation. That's a beautiful mango shot from Sitaux, takes down 2 scorpions, responded to by a beautiful mangonel shot from Dracken, takes down the entire army of crossbowmen, and all the mangonels go down from Sitaux. It's a cleanup from Dracken, that's for sure. The monastery here could go down pretty easily as well, just before a single monk could pop out. You will have to make an argument for, at this point, taking out the siege workshop or the monastery. I like that Sitaux is sneaking a couple of villagers to the left, because that's going to be very, very annoying for Dracken. And it's also worth noting that Sitaux is only at 11 villagers on food, which is not impressive for a 2 TC boom. In fact, that's borderline insufficient. And now we're having camos for Sitaux. As I said, I feel like he should have gone for camos immediately, because it was somewhat predictable that his opponent is going to play heavy cavalry over here. It's somewhat unlikely that the Khmer player plays archers, especially because I think Sitaux may have even seen the triple stables, right? Yeah, Sitaux sees the triple stables but didn't go for camos. That's somewhat surprising for me. If he loses this game, it's gonna be because he went for knights against triple stable knights. It's like 1 stable knights versus triple stable. Where is the idea behind that? So at this point, Sitau's got a third TC up himself, so 3 TCs for both players. Sitaux is behind by 10 vills. There is also heavy flow in for Dracken, but obviously Chinese farms last longer by default, so that 2 things kind of compensate each other. Slightly better eco for Dracken. But I feel like Sitaux has underinvested into camos over here. Like, he's still on 4 camos, and now that's a lot of knights, and he's in a position to be overrun. Are we going to see Dracken evening this one out? Brew actually said at the beginning of the stream that Sitaux said on yesterday's stream that he has had that he's going to quit Age of Empires if he loses to Dracken. And this one was a disaster game from Sitaux. And it's one thing that you fall behind in eco compared to the Khmer player, because that happens. That is just something that you can't avoid. The problem is that someone answer me the question, why are you making knights from a single stable to support the 6 crossbowmen you have, when your opponent is obviously triple stables? What do you think that triple stables is gonna be? Light cav? Why would it be light cav when it can be knights as well? So, with that, this TC is now under fire. Sitaux is behind by 23 villagers. Which is the mod that detect the unit converted. First of all, please turn off caps lock, otherwise my mods will be trigger happy. But it's actually capture rate. There is no mod that tells you which unit is getting converted. It is capture rate, and it is solely for casting. So, Sitau's got a random houses over here, and now he's stacking into pikemen, but this is like far too gone. That's the problem. This TC is dead, archer range is gonna go down, and yeah, from this point on, Sitau's eco is very, very messy, and I just want to quickly show off the the army value. 3,500 resources army value for Dracken, 650 for Sitaux. He's sitting on 2 camels. It's 28 to 8 army. This game, that's the thing. I feel like Sitaux has massively underestimated the power of this knight push, and now we get an answer on what Sitaux wanted to do. He wanted to just play this one with aggressive men-at-arms opening, followed up by archers to try and stop the Khmer boom, but after that, I just don't understand why he was not making camels immediately. Anyways, we are gonna have basically an absolute slaughter here. Like, this wood line is absolutely open, and boom. As one-sided as the first game was, this one was even more one-sided, to be honest. So, I really don't get the point of Sitaux going for knights here. I feel like maybe he didn't expect Dracken to play Castle Age push. That's the only thing I can imagine. Maybe Sitaux was like, okay, my opponent is going to do 3 TC boom. And honestly, this was a decent game plan from Dracken. Because he kind of made Sitaux believe that he's just going for a 3 TC boom. What I don't understand is that even after seeing the 3 stables, Why didn't Sitaux start adding camos himself? So, that is an even series over here, ladies and gentlemen. We have a series for ourselves, and as I said, Sitaux is, I think, candidate to win this part of the bracket. However, he can't make mistakes like this against Dracken, because this wasn't an execution mistakes. This was decision-making mistake over here. When will Nikov or Kaposh play? Nikov plays later today against Scotty. We'll see if we can cast that. Kaposh will play Sunday versus Nili. I will definitely cast that. That is something like... when is the match exactly? I think it's up on Liquipedia. But yeah, I'll be casting Kaposh versus Nili, that's for sure. Because that's one of my favorite matchups overall. Who's actually texting me right now? Oh, my phone rate plan renewal was successful. Thank you so much for letting me know this. Alright, so, I'm just saying this to YouTube because so far all the qualifiers I've casted on YouTube were basically off-stream and recorded games. So you see that while I'm actually casting live, I'm a little bit more distracted trying to answer questions as well. Hopefully that's not that bad. Anyways, Sitaux did pick Cross and Islands. I would say that to calm things down, you probably want to go Islands now. We have a Khmer winning for Dracken, and Chinese is gone over here, which was the first pick of Sitaux. For Islands, you take either Malay, you pick Vikings, or you pick Japanese. Other side, Italians, maybe Berbers or Byzantines could be an idea. I would think it's Italians. However, you can never cross out Byzantines, for example. I would love to see something like Byzantine landing, tower, spear, and skirm shenanigans. That would be very, very fun to take a look at overall. So, with that, we do have Cross as Sitau's home map over here. So he decides that he wants to play Cross. 16 seconds left of the spectator delay, so perfect timing. What are the maps for this qualifier? It's actually on the screen right now, if you mean that. So, with that, we are ready to jump into game number 3 over here, Sitaux versus Dracken. So, we are going into Cross, or Four Lakes, as many of the people around here know that. It is actually an interesting story to talk about Cross, as Dracken is going to have a very unfortunate house positioning over here, because this is going to partially block his gold, and that's not nice. But basically, Cross was a long-time tournament map in many, many tournaments, and then later on with Definitive Edition, it started being implemented into ranked matchmaking as well, known as Four Lakes. I don't think anyone in the Age of Empires community knows why they are not using the legacy names of these maps, so many people will be like, why are you calling this Cross when it's actually Four Lakes? No, this used to be Cross. In the game, they renamed it to Four Lakes, but there is also some special things with Cross, or at least previously on Hidden Cup, there were some special things with Cross. Apparently, this is a very, very standard Cross generation over here, and I am borderline saying that this is actually going to be polished for the main event. Why? Back in Hidden Cup 3, the way that Cross looked like is that each corner had one relic. That was preset. This is different from the ranked matchmaking, and each corner had one relic with shallows on it. And the final relic was over here in the middle, and there was the Temple of something in the middle, which was just a convertible neutral building that was purely for aesthetics, that had a cross-like shape, and the fifth relic was here in the middle. Now you may notice that there is 4 relics over here in the middle as well, which I am tempted to say that may be unintentional. So we will see if this map gets polished for the main event, but for now, this is the map script that we'll be using for the qualifiers. Dracken is playing Berbers in purple, and he's gonna be up against Sitau's Huns in blue, and honestly, Berbers sort of a counter pick to Huns here. Why are you picking Huns? That is because you're just gonna have a pretty nice wood income overall. You're not gonna have to spend on houses. Huns are generally one of the better civilizations on such hybrid maps, especially for Cross, one of the better civilization selections it is. Japanese could have also been an idea over here. Indeed, Aztecs, Lithuanians could also be something to consider based on the relic spawns. This is why I'm tempted to say that this might be just a mistake in the map script that may get fixed for the main event. It may have been intentional, but I think that player feedback for this one will be that it's too much relics. And if you actually give one relic to each corner, you don't need 4 in the middle. Maybe you can do 2 or 3 in the middle, but definitely not 4 and then 4 in the corners, because each player will have at least one guaranteed relic that is at the back of their base, even though you have to make a transport ship for that, but for Lithuanians that's still worth it because that's +1 attack, basically forever for your knights. And if you control another lake, you could get another one, so yeah, this may be a little bit of an overkill in terms of relic as well. So here's the deal. Huns are actually very, very good on this map, but Berbers are just basically better at everything, if you think about that. The Knights will be cheaper, they have access to Camels. Camels can be the response to Cav Archers as well. Against Cavalry Archers, Camel Archers work nicely as well. This depends on when the Hunnic player is able to strike, to be honest, because the Berber players will have the answer to whatever the Huns bring in. The question is, can the Berber player get to that composition in time? And that's going to be the real question. Now, the thing is that since you have a lot of fishing eco at the back of your base, oftentimes this is a 1TC type of a build. You rarely see second town centers added right when hitting Castle Age by the players. And that also means that we are probably going to see triple range Cav Archers or double triple stable Knights from Sitaux's Hunnic play, and we will see what Dracken is up to over here. Anyways, Dracken only has 1 fishing ship over here. He should be having more by now, exactly. Sitaux is going to have 3 when he has 2, so Dracken is a little bit behind in terms of fishing ship numbers. Anyways, looking at the volability, Dracken's base is sort of volable, but not ideal. The berries are on the front. There is also a hill in front of Dracken's base, which is always pretty bad. Sitaux's map, however, isn't really volable either. He's gonna save gold here, but this primary gold is pretty bad. And it's exposed to almost everything. Right side is rather volable, and Sitaux is gonna go for 4 fishing ships. Dracken adding a 4th one as well himself, but as I said, a little bit behind in terms of eco. Anyways, we have both players going up the feudal, and Dracken is sending a lot of Voyagers to straggler trees over here. One of the things that you can think about when it comes to this map, and it looks like Dracken is keeping his scout over here, probably he wants to use this hole later on to sneak some Voyagers and maybe get a sneaky dock up here. This will be a perfect occasion to do that. Does it make sense to do a pre-milled rush to deny walling and then add your dock? Maybe, but as you see, they are not really walling that much, so I'm not sure how much damage the pre-milled rush would cause. And delaying your dock would impact your eco, so I think it's safer to play it this way. Dracken's gonna use the same wood line over here, and considering that he's adding a mining camp on gold, this is likely going to be archer play from him, although he's not having a barracks, so he wants fire galleys. Indeed, that's a sneaky villager, and he could get it up on Sitaux. Now, if he's fully walled, I like what Dracken is doing, by the way. Dropping a house here to prevent a sneaky villager and using an outpost. As you see, Dracken's POV, he knows everything about this part of the map, which is extremely important. So many times have we seen players dying to a sneaky dock, and we will see if Sitaux is gonna do that. Sitaux is doing a very smart move over here, though. He sends a fishing ship over there. This is intentional. You see that your opponent is up. You know it's a fast feudal age, so you have to consider maybe he's sneaking a dock up on me. And that is exactly the case. Sitaux will react to the fire galley. The problem is that while Dracken is doing this, Dracken has no defense back at home, and Sitaux is also going for scouts. So this is why I wasn't really a fan of Dracken's game plan over here. I mean, the sneaky dock is nice, but you're supposed to be walled in this case. What are the Berbers' water advantages? Berbers have faster moving ships, which can be a little bit helpful. And it looks like Sitaux is going to lose a scout or not. The reinforcements arrive just in time. Defensive spearman on the way. Stable now comes in for Dracken, who is going for some tight walls. He could make some walls over here on the goal just to make sure the scouts don't break in. And the fire galley will pop out right over here. Vulture will be walled in here so that the fire galley can't actually fire over here, and also scouts won't be able to kill this wheel, so the Vulture will be repairing ships from this side, and I think Dracken is waiting for a second fire galley. Sitaux has to add the second dock here to make sure that he defends his own food eco, which is something worth noting. Spearman gets a nice poke on one of those scouts over there. Dracken with 5 fishing ships on his own pond. Worth noting that neither of the players are actually contesting the neutral ponds right now, so for now, both players will be just using their own lake, and Sitaux might find some villagers over here on the berries. As I said, I don't understand why Dracken did not make any effort at, walling himself if he was not making any military, because it seems like his original plan was not to make military. And against a skilled player like Sitaux, he's going to punish you very, very hard if you are leaving your base this open, and Dracken canceled that tower in time, so he's not going to lose all the resources on that. Dracken will need a demo as well over here to sink the fire galleys, otherwise he's going to fall behind in numbers. Anyways, for now, there is an archer over here as well for Sitaux, and why do I have a feeling that Dracken is massively misplaying this one? Archer picks off the spearman, and oh boy, that's a slaughter. Did I mention that the key ingredient for Dracken to winning this series, or at least even being competitive in this series, is having a good game plan? He doesn't have a good game plan here. One sneaky villager playing wide open, that's not a game plan, that's a disaster. And with that, now he's behind by 3 villagers, he's getting his range up as well, but his base is wide open, he's got no access to his berries. Oh man. And there is Sitaux dropping a dock here, so he's gonna be able to expand his fishing eco. I don't understand why he made no walls here. As bad as a decision was from Sitaux to go for knights in the previous game instead of camels, this is an even worse decision from Dracken going on over here. What was Drakken's home map? Drakken's home map was Hideout and maybe Gold Rush? I don't remember that. So, yeah, at this point, it would, we're starting to get to a position where it's gonna be a miracle if Dracken wins this one, because Cross can snowball very, very fast like this, because the opponent is gonna be able to start securing extra fish for himself, and you're just going to be constantly running away. I feel like you can't play Cross without walls. I might be just the player that is, overly emphasizing walls over here, and many are saying, oh yeah, you can play without walls, and sure, but I feel like I have seen many players dying without walls, and if Dracken did what he did, with just a bit of a walling to prevent the first couple of scouts from completely slaughtering him, I feel like it could have been a completely different game. Now he's forced to scramble for wood and whatnot. He could have walled himself at the beginning, to be honest. And, see, there is openings like this. This game is over, honestly. Not because Dracken is going to lose everything here, he's going to be able to defend with spears and archers for a while. It's going to be about the fact that he's nowhere close to actually being a factor in this game. So, he's barely holding on, and at some point, this fishing eco is going to kick in for Sitaux. Dracken is going to run out of deep fish over here, so as you move further away from the fish here, the fishing is going to be more and more inefficient. Whereas for Sitaux, that's going to be a very efficient food source. And if you look at Sitau's resources, it starts to show, I think. It's 12 villagers lead. It's not about TC idle time, it's about fishing eco. Look at this. Sitaux actually went for this pond. Sitaux also didn't lose a single villager, whereas Dracken lost 8 villagers, guys. 8 vills in this game. And I don't understand his game plan. He had a pretty decent game plan on the hideout game. Not so much over here. Sitaux is even laming away the huntables just to make sure that his opponent isn't able to access it. And surprisingly, he's not using the scouts to engage over here, which is a bit of a sloppiness, honestly. Sitaux now forcing a dock up here. Dracken is too busy dealing with this one. He's forced to make archers to defend, so Sitaux is just gonna brute force a dock here. Dracken sees this, but seeing it and reacting to it is two completely different things. And there is going to be a fire galley soon from Sitaux, who's on the way towards Castle Age. And as I said, Berbers have the answer to everything that the Huns can give you. However, the real question is, can the Berbers player survive until he's able to make that reaction? And the answer seems like it's gonna be no, because with Archer Armor coming in, Sitaux is going to get a third range up. It's going to be Crossbowman into Cav Archer. He's gonna get the crossbow upgrade because he's got quite a lot of archers on the field, but then transition to Cav Archers, and that's gonna make life even harder for the Dracken. Not as if he was actually surviving this. So at this very moment, I feel like when Sitaux reaches Castle Age, Dracken might just call the GG, because now the bottom of this tower is being camped down. 3 villagers will probably not escape this one, and Dracken clicks up with 1.5 minutes deficit, but it is more about the 10 villagers and the 1.5 minutes deficit, and the fact that your opponent is gonna do triple range Cav Archers that you are going to have no immediate answer for. A second stable is coming in here for Dracken. You wonder if he's planning to go for Knights. Cheap Berber Knights might try to help you out here. The problem is that as long as there is crossbows on the field, the camos will not work against the Cav Archers. But as long as there is Cav Archers on the field for the Hunnic player, the Knights will not be super efficient, because the Cav Archers can run away from them. So here's the dock over here, and you can see that Dracken is too busy surviving right now. Like, he's actually very busy surviving and not dying, because Sitaux, he's got fire galleys being produced right next to his dock, and Dracken obviously sees that. He's got the dock right next to there, he's got the outpost. He knows about it, it's just about not being able to react. And there is War Galley for Sitaux. Sitaux is wisely using one of his docks over here to get War Galley, so he can keep producing ships over here, and indeed, Dracken knows exactly that this game is over. Well, this was, how do I put this? A disappointment? Because it kind of was. Oh man. Titanic indeed it is. Dracken losing on cross, and that means that we're going to Drakken's second home map, which is going to be Bay. Now, Bay is one of the more defendable maps as well, one of the games that could actually end up being longer. However, I would think that on hybrid maps, I'm still giving an edge to Sitaux. And that means that my prediction on a 3-1 score could be completely legitimate in this game. I thought that Sitaux is going to win 3-1, and so far I seem to be right. They are already setting up the next game, and we will jump inside. This might be a restart, however, or they set up the game very fast. That's the alternative option. So here it is. Bay in Hidden Cup 4. We're going to have Dracken playing as Lithuanians on the right side in purple. Left side, it is going to be Sitaux in teal, or teal blue. One thing that we have to talk about in Bay is that they changed the way that the huntables spawn. Back in the days, it used to be one big cluster of huntables, so it was always Mongols being picked here. It's no longer the case. They spread out the huntables, so it is still viable to potentially move out to grab some of the huntables, but it is definitely not as overpowered as it used to be. The front of the base here for Dracken is super open, and I actually talked about this when I was casting the qualifiers a couple of days ago that are up on my YouTube, is that this patch is thick enough to be impossible to be dog blocked. So there's absolutely no way you can wall to the water here. There's absolutely no way. Not even with dock blocking. So the only way you wall this base for Dracken is if you wall something like this, and that's awful. He's got double back gourds, but stone isn't really available for him. One of the reasons why Lithuanians could be viable here is because they do have a pretty fast fuel age over here, nice and easy start with the extra food that you start with, and that could be helpful when it comes to fire galley fights. Plus the relics are also sort of preset. If you take a look at this one, one deer patch has 1 relic each, and this hill has 3 relics evenly distributed. So technically, predictable relic spawns oftentimes make players get Lithuanians for a certain map, because that helps you secure relics when you know where the relics are supposed to be, and you don't necessarily have to scout every tile of the map to find relics. So with that, we are going to have all maps fixed relics. Nope. The previous cross had the random relics on the land. It was fixed relics in the quarter, but random relics on land. Arabia isn't fixed relics either, so the majority of the maps aren't fixed relics, I think. Anyways, for now, Dracken has his dock up, gets the fishing ship out, and in the meanwhile, Sitaux actually getting a little bit later dock. This is the standard dock timing. Dracken got his dock up a little bit faster because I assume that the extra food helped him send Voyagers to Wood a little earlier, and then when you send Voyagers to Wood a little earlier, you can afford the dock a little earlier as well. That being said, the Voyager that is being sent out here by Sitaux is without Loom, so you have to pull your Voyager and Scout together to make sure that that Voyager isn't getting lost. And one thing that we have to keep in mind here is that there is going to be Japanese fishing ships for Sitaux. And the reason why that's important is because Japanese fishing ships are extremely hard to kill, which means that even if your opponent is slightly outnumbering you or beating you in to feudal age, he's not going to be able to immediately destroy your fishing eco, and that's huge. So the fact that Japanese fishing ships have a great survivability over here is actually enormous. Anyways, there is one extra fishing ship over here for Dracken, which is gonna have its effect, and he's gonna get housed. So he had to fix that for a moment. That actually causes quite a lot of TC idle time, 14 seconds because of that. And with 2 more Voyagers and Loom coming in, it looks like he's about to go up in this one. I'm not sure if he's gonna have the food to do that though. He can still drop this off. This is gonna be like 300 food from the boar. And fishing ships, this should be good enough, I think, for Dracken to go up. Let's see what his opponent Sitaux is doing, who has faster working fishing ships, though. That's the lesser known Japanese fishing ship bonus. It's not just about fishing ships having 120 HP compared to 60 and much harder to kill. It is also about, you know, much harder to... or... well, not much harder to kill, that's what I said initially, but also, they also get her faster. Anyways, that's going to be a nice and comfy, about 30-ish seconds advantage for the Dracken into feudal age, and as I said, one of the things that Japanese fishing ships give you, in this case, is the ability to survive the initial fire galley of your opponent, and that is huge in this scenario, because you're obviously getting beaten into feudal age here. In fact, Sitaux still doesn't have the food for it. Sitaux getting one more Voyager in, so he's gonna get beaten to feudal age pretty badly, to a point where I could make a case for Dracken at opening with a galley. Because a galley does a lot more damage to a fishing ship at the beginning, and opening with a galley would allow you to sink the opponent's fishing ships very, very fast. The second dock is already coming in here for Dracken, and I'm gonna have to say that Dracken's start here was a little bit better. That being said, he's got all of his fishing ships idle over here. You can see that idle indicator climbing down very, very fast. So those fishing ships should be gathering here, and Dracken is not noticing. And once again, Dracken is late noticing his idles. That's something I've noticed in game number 1 as well, and overall, when he played yesterday against T19, a ranked game. It looks like Sitaux is going to do some scouting across the other side of the pond to see what his opponent is up to, if it's a singles dock situation and potential land push, or potentially double docks in the fire galley fight. But as I said, it's 50 seconds advantage, and let's see what Dracken is doing. He's opening double fire galleys. Obviously, the advantage is going to be on his side, and because of that, Sitaux is going to play men-at-arms over here, most likely. That is something that Dracken may not expect, though, and that could cause a lot of chaos. Most of the time, you open up with just fire galley fights over here, and whenever you lose the water, you start transitioning to land. In fact, in Hidden Cup 3, what you could see is that whoever loses water starts going on land, and whenever a player notices that the opponent is off from water and he kind of surrenders it, he's probably just going to start voting himself, and this is what Dracken should notice. Dracken should notice that there is only one dock. In fact, he also notices the militias coming his way, so he knows exactly that his opponent is probably just going to give up on water and go towards himself. So the appropriate behavior here for Dracken is just to wall himself, and in the meanwhile, there is going to be a demo for Sitaux, which only serves the purpose of demo sniping your opponent's fishing eco, because it's like, okay, I'm gonna lose my fishing eco, but I might as well sink yours, and at the end of the day, let's see if Dracken is going to react. That is exactly the demo snipe that you want. I don't think Dracken was prepared for that. And that was very, very nicely done by Sitaux. So it's one thing that Sitaux loses his fishing eco, but it doesn't matter if Dracken does that as well. Obviously, Dracken can rebuild that, but it is basically just like losing 3 villagers. So, this is one of the reasons why if you start winning water, oftentimes you see players spreading out their fishing ships more. So like 2 fishing ships on this pond, 2 on this pond over here. Dracken still has 2 fishing ships working for him. And now what he has to be prepared for is that his opponent is gonna go archers, most likely. You could make a case for skirms here with Lithuanians, because the men-at-arms aren't an immediate threat, and you can run away from the men-at-arms, and the skirms would help you deal with the archers. And Dracken, at this point, he's gonna have the extra fishing ships working for him. There is another demo, but now Dracken is doing the right thing. Splitting up the fishing ships so the demo cannot snipe multiple fishing ships at the same time. Anyways, we're gonna have the men-at-arms coming in here. Archer is already out for Dracken to defend. And 3 fishing ships will actually have its effect on the game, trust me. It's going to be extremely important for Dracken that he has 3 fishing ships alive over here. And that's going to be a nice little advantage for him. So Dracken seemed like he was actually pretty well prepared for this map. Whereas for Sitaux, his start was a little bit sloppier than expected. So even if Sitaux wins this series, he's going to have to consider that, you know, this wasn't as flawless as many would have expected. Now, Dracken is not an easy opponent, but Sitaux should still be winning this if you just look at the overall skill level of the 2 players. But right now, Dracken is holding this one nicely, and as I said, 4 fishing ships will actually have a great effect on the game. Now, Dracken doesn't have a lot more food income though, in fact 0 farms. His opponent had to go for farms without horse color. I think Dracken, you can make a case for getting horse color for Dracken whenever he can afford it for the farms, but right now he's a little bit low on food, had to evacuate his berries, although he could still send a couple of villagers over there because it's not like Sitaux is actually directly attacking this. But he's going to drop a couple of farms. Right now he's a little bit low on food, and that's gonna mean that he's going to struggle a little bit with villager production. Gprex, thank you so much for the new subscription. Welcome. I greatly appreciate your support. Thank you so much as well. Now, this is actually a nice move from Sitaux. Baits the archers to the north with the scout and then pushes in with the archers. Dracken didn't lose a single villager though. At the end of the day, it's 3 ships killed from both. That's the 3 eco that was lost overall. Army value is slightly better for Dracken, but that includes 3 fire galleys as well. So, in terms of archer numbers, you have 7 versus, what is that? 5 archers for now. So, yeah, the real question is that how is Sitaux going to punish the water boom of Dracken here? Because now that water is completely in the hands of Dracken, you could make a case for Dracken adding like 2 more fishing ships or so. Here is a big fight. Nice moves, very, very nice moves from Dracken over there, picking off the men-at-arms. And now with the men-at-arms out of the picture, you can actually use your faster moving Lithuanian skirms to chase down those archers. And not going to lie, this is looking extremely good for Dracken, and we could be in for a pretty close series over here. And yeah, Sitaux is definitely top 30. Dracken is more like top 50. That is legitimate. Indeed, it's worth looking into the fact that Sitaux is going up to Castle Age, and that's something that I have completely forgotten about. And if he can save this army of archers, he's going to have a reasonable amount of crossbows. Dracken, on the other hand, is going very, very heavy on feudal age aggression. However, we have to ask the question if Sitaux is going to be able to hold this base over here. His only wood line is heavily exposed to archers, and he's going to focus on saving his army instead of saving his own base. I think Dracken knows that his opponent might be going into Castle Age here, because that army is just running away very, very easily. And here's the deal. This wood line is going to be idle. This part of the wall is relatively strong, although there is a palisade wall over there that could be taken down. And yeah, your best bet is getting through that palisade. For Sitaux, he needs to stone wall here, house here, and that should stop it. And I don't think that they can actually range all the villagers on the goal, so that's not going to be an awful lot of damage output. Dracken will actually get ready to click up himself. The thing is that against early crossbows that do not have a +1 defense, even though these guys will, you can hold for some time with the +1/+1 skirms. It's not going to be very, very efficient. However, look at this. Sitaux is going to get 9 archers, and there is a couple of skirms here, and they will intercept that archer force. And remember, these skirms are moving faster, so they can actually catch these guys. And in the meanwhile, skirms are popping out for Sitaux in increasing quantities. But you gotta ask the question if Elite Skirm is something that's going to work out well for Sitaux here. Dracken on the way to cast stage as well with a 2 minutes deficit, which is kind of enormous. However, the real question is if Sitaux is gonna be able to punish Dracken for this. Because armies are being played over here, even though this is quite inefficient for Dracken losing the archers to the skirms. But as you see, Dracken is taking into knights now, and the thing is that Sitau's got 7 archers that will pretty much be picked off before their crossbows. Even if they fight this as crossbowmen, these are skirms at +1/+1, so they will not be as bad as you would think. They will be able to take some decent engagements, and that's all that Dracken needs until he gets up to Castle Age and then starts going for knights with Lithuanians. Remember, one of the relics is easy to pick up for him. The others are absolutely within range, but it's a little bit more work to pick those up. And indeed, we're gonna have a double stable coming in here. Bloodlines just coming in for Dracken, just in time actually. That's gonna be nice. So remember that there is still a fish boom here for Dracken, and that's huge. That's enormous. Now he's gonna get fish traps over here. Later on, the fish traps can be rated by crossbows, for example. But at this point, it's not like Sitau's army impresses me, and it looks like Drakken's gonna play triple stable knights here. So that's an interesting decision. I would have thought that the third building is going to be a monastery for relics, because with Lithuanians you want to actually get that out. And here come the knights, +2 defense coming in here for Dracken. And Drakken's fish boom indeed is paying out big time. Like, this is actually an insanely good source of food for him. Very, very consistent. He's gonna have to idle a couple of wheels over here, but I don't think that's the end of the world right now. So he's gonna survive, and when he gets to about 6-7 knights, he's gonna be able to take this army down very easily. Plus, he can also make a couple of skirms. He's a little bit low on production right now, though, which is worth considering, and that could be a forward siege workshop or a monastery from Sitaux. Probably opening with a monastery because he's up against knights, and now it looks like, as I said, Sitaux is just going to leave. If there was a demo here from Dracken, he could potentially sink an army that steps on the shallows, and we'll see if those crossbows will actually try picking off the fishing ships over here. Soon the deep fish will run out, so you'll have to start adding fish traps, but that's still a lot more efficient than what Sitaux is going to have in terms of food eco. And a knight coming in here as well from Sitaux with 0 upgrades. Obviously, Japanese knights aren't amazing. I just wonder where that knight came from. It came from Sitaux, but that feels like a bad investment for Sitaux. He wanted to get a knight out because maybe he was expecting a skirm defense. But now Dracken is switching into knights here with +2 defense, and that's not a lot of crossbows. Although there is going to be more joining them. 18 crossbows should be enough against 9 knights, although it is debatable over here. And are we having a pause? No, I think Capture Age just died. That was weird. Okay, we're back in action, ladies and gentlemen. No worries about that. So here come the knights. If they intercept this army, that's gonna be an absolute beauty for Dracken. +2 defense, and even numbers of knights versus crossbows is gonna be an absolute slaughter. In the meanwhile, this relic could be picked up by Dracken, and here comes the monastery. This knight could actually intercept monks coming that way. And husbandry is in as well for Dracken, so he's got very, very good upgrades on these knights over here. And it's not ideal to fight against Japanese spearmen over here, as Sitaux is trying to save his army. And this wasn't that great of an engagement for Dracken, but I feel like this was actually pretty reasonable considering the fact that he's having a slight villager lead over here. Took down quite a lot of crossbows. Very nicely microed indeed by Sitaux. You could actually use the fire galleys here. Even the demos could be an idea for Dracken. Let's see if he's making demos. He does not. Siege Workshop comes in here, so it's going to be Knight and Mangonel now. Sitaux microed this one pretty nicely. Sitaux is playing 1 TC, however, and no fish, whereas Dracken is playing 1 TC but fish. So obviously, Drakken's eco is going to be a little bit better over here. Plus, Dracken could also keep adding more fishing ships over here with the wood he has and add fish traps on them. That could also be a possibility for him. For now, he wants to pick up the relics, and even just the +1 attack is going to be huge. Plus, the fact that you can heal your knights also is an extra effect. So, the monks will help you with that as well. There's going to be 1 monk, and it looks like Dracken may lose that monk. That was quite unfortunate for him, and now Japanese pikemen are coming in. And that's going to make life a little bit harder for Dracken over here. Because, yes, we have some pretty significant lag spikes over here in Capture Age. Let's hope that it doesn't actually collapse on us over here. So, Mangonels now for Sitaux, but more important, the pikeman and siege push could be a little bit tough for Dracken to hold against. And remember that Dracken isn't able to get the relics for himself right now. In fact, I could make a case for Sitaux trying to steal that relic from that point. Because he should know that that relic is over there. And that's the closest relic for Dracken. If Dracken wants any relics for himself, that's gonna be the closest one and the safest one for him to grab. Skirmisher is getting caught off guard over here, and there is pikeman in here with Japanese attack upgrades. Holy smokes, this is very, very laggy. We may need to restart Capture Age here. We're just gonna wait until the end of this fight and then restart Capture Age. But this was still a win, I would say, for Dracken. Especially if he groups up his knights. He's at 18 military compared to 23. And there is going to be Scorpions here as well. And the Scorpions will get some very, very nice shots in here. And in the meanwhile, Dracken is moving out for a relic. We could be in for a 2-2 here. And I said Sitaux is actually a candidate to win his part of the bracket. Oh my god, that's some heavy, heavy lags. Which means that we're probably going to switch into the game for a huge moment. Huge moments, for a couple of moments. What is happening? Is it the game actually? No, it definitely has to be Capture Age. I'll need to check out what's going on with it. It does have some memory leak issues as well, as far as I know. So maybe that could be a problem. We'll troubleshoot it after this game. For now, we'll stick with the original game over here. Second TC is coming in for Sitaux against this push. And in the meanwhile, oh yeah, Capture Age has a huge memory leak. That's why my computer was lagging. Sorry for that. Capture Age apparently was using 20 gigabytes of RAM out of my 24. That is happening for those on YouTube because I've been casting for 8 hours and it appears that Capture Age has a memory leak issue. So, sorry for the lags, that was caused by this memory leak, which means we can actually go back to Capture Age now. It's gonna be fixed in the next patch as far as I know, but there is a serious memory leak with that, and that is why there's big lags coming in. But it's early version software. So, back we are. Apologies everybody for technical difficulties, but it is probably better to spectate the game in CA because of all the stats that it does display for us. So, Boso is just coming in here for Sitaux, something that is still missing for Dracken, and Dracken is now going for Elite Skirm. Dracken is playing 2TC, Ballistics was an idea over here, and now he's sending Voyagers to Stone. Sitaux was also sending Voyagers to Stone over here, so it seems like we're going to have another Barracks and a Pikeman coming in, and now those ships can't sail close enough to the land because eventually they will get converted by monks. Anyways, Scale Mail on the way. In fact, that's already in, and Chainmail is now on the way for our Japanese Pikemen here. The thing is that you could use Scorpions or Elite Skirms might be the best unit over here for Dracken. Because Japanese is main in Archer and Infantry Civ, so Elite Skirms, especially with Lithuanians, work out very, very nicely. Dracken has one relic, and this is the moment where you actually move out. Look at how Dracken is doing this. He actually took the middle relic, but he's taking it all the way to the edge here and then moving back. That is because he's making sure that his monk isn't going to get intercepted. So slowly but surely he's getting relics, and I like that he took the middle one first, and he probably wants this third one for himself too. In the meanwhile, everything seems passive, and Dracken just getting TC number 3 up. You can just let Dracken boom though, that's something that we have to keep in mind. Dracken is a very, very good arena player, and when you let arena players boom, they will punish you for that, I can tell you this much. That being said, Dracken's army is a little bit lower than Sitaux's army, and at the end of the day, that's quite a lot of crossbows and pikemen. If they are supported by a mangonel from Sitaux, that could be something, and that is an ambitious castle from Sitaux. I'm not sure what he's thinking, like, maybe he doesn't know there's a TC there? No, he knows that. He wants to castle drop that, but I don't think that he knows about the army. Look at this. This is what Sitaux sees from the map. He has no idea that his army is potentially weaker than the opponent's army. Like, we're up against 12 skirmishers, and it is going to be 20 knights with soon 2 relics. So this is definitely not a clear advantage for Sitaux over there. And that mangonel goes down, now you disengage with the knights, or you even fight this. Dracken decides to fight this one. The pikemen are overrunning the knights. This may have been a bad decision from Sitaux or from Dracken. He lost the majority of his knights over there, and this could be a game-losing move here. He could have just withdrawn his knights, I believe, let the skirms finish off the pikemen, and then, or maybe loop around. It's hard to say because you want to stop that castle, but I cannot help but wonder if it was worth it to throw away that many knights into the pikemen. And those are Japanese pikemen with +1/+2. They're actually pretty devastating. I would even dare to say that it might have been better to just give up this TC for the sake of saving your knights, because now you lost the majority of your knights and you are sort of in a trouble now. It's 80 Vultures compared to 78, that's even, but 40 army against 27 isn't that impressive now for Dracken. Dracken has 500 stone in the bank and he doesn't have a stone knight at the back, so he can't make a defensive castle himself, which is something that is sort of a concern right now for him. Let's see if he can pick that mangonel off. Sitaux reacts, Dracken splits away, nice move over there from him, and he even picks off a crossbowman over there. And by the way, Dracken lost all those knights, having a +3 on those already, thanks to the relics. So those weren't even standard knights, those were actually stronger than what you would get with any other civilization in this one. But Japanese pikemen are no joke. And the problem for Dracken now is, as I said, that if he wants a defensive castle, he has to buy 200 stone for that. And I think he's thinking about Imp right now. He's got a university, he's got a siege workshop. So technically Dracken could imp this. The problem is that clicking up to Imperial is a lot of resources, and it's going to take 3 minutes for you to really get the advantage from Imp here. And that's the main concern for Dracken. He's definitely thinking about imping it right now. You could make a case for a siege workshop, indeed. Mangonel is coming in here because you just want to make sure that the opponent's Mangonel is dead. Nice micro so far from Dracken. One more volley. The Mangonel is still alive. That's actually a very, very nice fight over there. Some conversions coming in here from Sitaux. But at the end of the day, Sitau's push stalls out a little bit. And if Dracken is going to click up, I think after that you could make a case for buying yourself a castle here and then making traps. Because Sitaux is not far away from clicking into Imperial here. And remember that the extra fishing eco here for Dracken really pays off. That's a very, very good source of food for him right now. 2 relics in his possession and he's too busy not dying, so he's not picking up others right now. So, Samurai! This is what Sitaux was preparing. And Samurai are actually pretty decent in this scenario. Sitaux, another castle drop. Dracken is using this TC to imp over here, but this is sort of a castle age push. Almost a castle age all-in here from Sitaux, and Sitaux isn't far away from imp himself, but what he has is army numbers. And Samurai will just completely massacre skirmishers. They're extremely good against them. And Japanese pikemen will be enough to deal with the knights. And once again, had Dracken not lost 20-ish knights trying to stop this castle that ended up going up anyways, maybe he could have actually taken better engagements over there. Why is Samurai? That's a good question. Is because Samurai destroy skirmishers. Samurai have a good enough pierce armor on them and a good enough HP to deal with skirmishers. Basically, as long as there is no opponent, no archers from the opponent, Samurais are completely reasonable. Just like longswordsmen, or you often see champions switch against the full skirmisher play in post-Imperial. Same thing over here. Samurai, you can train them pretty fast on a castle. You don't need to get a lot of technologies for them because you're already teched into the pikemen and they're using the same upgrades. And they just absolutely massacre the skirmishers. Big castle age push here from Sitaux, and even though Dracken had all the water control, Sitaux edges this victory out. However, I want to stress that indeed 3-1 was my prediction. I was right about that. I feel like Sitaux underperformed compared to what I expected him to do. So, this game could have been different if Dracken doesn't take an awful fight over here close to that castle. The Arabia game could have also been different if Dracken is playing a little bit more aggressive, and I think the cross game could have been completely different as well if Dracken doesn't go for an absolute potato strategy. So, Sitaux wasn't dominating Dracken over here, and even though obviously, as I said, Dracken is a rather strong player, Sitaux will probably have VV to beat in this part of the bracket to qualify for the main event. He needs to clean things up a little bit, otherwise VV is going to be a tough nut to crack. Because VV's execution is going to be tough to get past if you make mistakes like that, like the hideout game where he just went for knights instead of camels. Those things and those mistakes are not something that you can afford. So with that, that is the end of this series. Sitaux edges out a victory in this one against Dracken 3-1. Once again, this will all be uploaded to YouTube as well. So in case you were watching over there, thank you so much for watching, and hopefully you have enjoyed your stay.